I just wanted to ask, the proposal seems very modular. Is there any chance in the future that if your private funding did not come into place, that particular modulars like the velodrome might not be built and it might be raised as a future problem rather than the immediate problem that we're facing with you guys wanting to cut the ends off of the velodrome?
Well, the board's philosophy is that we're here for the citizens of our community. And the biggest uses of the velodrome currently are the kids that spend their time on the field. You can, most of the time, you come out here and like today, there's nobody on the velodrome, and half of the year it's raining and it's too wet for anybody to use it. So, I mean, aside from the fact that it was built when the standards for that sport were different, it just doesn't get the kind of use that our community needs. But we really hope to go forward with all of the pieces. But the West Shore Parks and Recreation Society, our main focus is the kids in our community, right, and the citizens of our community, and making sure they have the kinds of recreational facilities that they need and use the most often.
So is the answer yes, that there is no contingency plan?
That will depend entirely on how much these gentlemen raise.
Because
as part of the feasibility study, then you raise money for the field and you raise money separately for the field house.
No, the intention is that we move forward to raise funding and capital for the entire project.
But you, so like I think where he's going to is if you have the $3 million and you're like, okay, we can build the stadium, but we can't get 12 million. So we cut pieces out of the field.
And I also like to note that I know in the media recently there's a lot of attention that it doesn't meet international standards. And the reality is when you compare it to hockey, you guys are really comparing an Olympic-sized rink to an NHL rink. You're saying, why don't we just do away with all the NHL rinks because it doesn't meet Olympic standards? In cycling, you guys are talking about a World Cup event that might come here once every 4 or 5 years, and you're basing your whole, that has nothing to do with the local community. The local community, the local community is the cycling teams. Have you done a study on that? Have you done a study to prove that that doesn't exist?
If I could speak to this, and this is my personal opinion. I've sat on the board, like I say, for 5 or 6 years now, and I struck a fields committee for the sole purpose because our user groups, the most user groups, need to find a way to facilitate something for our kids in our community.
Right.
If I have to make a decision as a board member that removes the velodrome to increase the usage for our community to our kids, I will do that.
Well, then,
I'm not saying I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But
my response.
If I could finish, please. I will do that as a board member. I will make a hard decision because I look out for what is the best interest of our community and the most usage. Now, clearly the board has provided a vision that cements cycling in our community forever. And that's why I said right at the very start of this, let's not focus on the negatives. Let's see how we can do this. Let's see how we can accomplish it. And if I have to make a decision at this board table to take out the velodrome track, then I might make that decision, but that decision will come based on usage, based on community involvement from our youth first. Clearly, when I've sat at this board, we use that facility most for the user groups, which is field cross, soccer, football. And it makes no sense for me at this point to replace an infield that is not of adequate size.